Well, hello, everybody. I think I've gotten the hang of that part. Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Junk Shop Library channel, home of Improv Bible Study, where we read and eviscerate every last verse of the King James Bible, because it's in the public domain, from a modern atheist humanist perspective. If that sounds appealing to you, by all means stick around, hit that thumbs up, consider subscribing. Check out the back catalog, which goes all the way back to Genesis, and now we're in Psalms. If that doesn't appeal to you, hit that thumbs down on your way out. Leave me a mean comment. Let's see what happens. All righty. Well, we have a busy little chat today. I want to say hello to everybody. I see Dave. I see my wonderful wife. I see Paul Camish. I see Ease, Brainbug, Mark Caesar, Mama Atheist. We are representing all over the world today. So good to see you all. Welcome. Make sure you share out the stream. See how many folks we can drag into our madness today. You know what I just realized? I forgot to turn on my damn light. Pardon me one moment. There we go. Now you can see my beautiful, lovely face, and more importantly, my beautiful, lovely scarf. Isn't this fantastic? Tassels and all. This was made for us by the one, the only, the amazing, godless Granny. Thank you so very, very much whenever you see this. Marvelous. And it's warm, I tell you. Maybe too warm to be sitting here in front of this light in a long-sleeved shirt. We'll find out. Well, y'all know what time it is. It is time to thank the fantabulous patrons. I have given up trying to do this with two hands, but one will suffice. You see their names scrolling at the bottom of the screen. These are the folks who have jumped over to patreon.com/junkshoplibrary and for as little as $1 a month volunteered to support the stream in a monetary fashion. Gotta shill, y'all. Gotta do what we gotta do. Thank you all, one and all, so much for your ongoing support, both financial and moral. It means the world, and it helps us continue to do what we love to do here in the library and to improve as we go. In alphabetical order, those folks are Atheist Pastor, Aunt Jur, B, Bill, Brainbug, Mark Caesar, Paul Camish, Gary, Ilya Moon, Kim, Linda, the Lone Wanderer, Math Big, Mama Atheist, Nikki, Rain, and Santi. Thank you all so much. It really does mean the world. It's Math Pig! Math Pig stealing GeoSam's bit with the eyeballs. We're going to have a war in the chat. All right. Well, let's see. Did I have... Oh, I do have an announcement. Julie and I are featured on today's episode of Creator's Corner over at the Sit Down with Debunkers channel, which will be premiering at 3 our time?
Yes.
3 our time. 3 Central, 4 Eastern, and whatever time that makes it wherever you are in the world. That's an hour from now, which means we will have a hard stop at somewhere between 10 and 5 minutes till to allow me to find the channel, run over there and hang out in the chat, and I certainly hope you join us. Speaking of announcements, we will have no episode of Improv Bible Study on Wednesday. I will be being interviewed by the good folks over at Transgarter, which is a fantastic channel. I'm going to see if I can beat... Yes! Beat everybody to the punch. Hopefully that link is live. Woefully undersubscribed, but amazing content they do over there. If you're not already subscribed, please, by all means, go ahead and do it. Help boost the community. Alrighty. Yeah, I think that's all I've got in the way of an... Oh, not quite. Not quite. I've got one more thanks I must do. I got to thank Ed, the grumpy old dude. For the Zippo Flints. Thank you so much, my friend. Get us away from these crappy disposable things that end up inside penguins and whales and shit. Hey, speaking of godless granny, hello. Wonderful to see you as always. All right, yeah. I think that's all I've got in the way of announcements. I think it's time to plunge into the word of the Lord. What do y'all say? You braced for the impact for this crap? We're still in Psalms, y'all. We're going to be in Psalms for some time to come, I fear. Oh, thank goodness. I marked them out as I went. So many on one page sometimes in Psalms. I'd be repeating myself all over the place. Yes, I do. And I love it. All right. Psalm 10, rather. Psalm 10. Why standest thou afar off, O Lord? Why hidest thou thyself in times of trouble? The wicked in his pride doth persecute the poor. Let them be taken in with the devices that they have imagined. For the wicked boasteth of his heart's desire, and blesseth the covetous, whom the Lord abhorreth. The wicked, through the pride of his countenance, will not seek after God. God is not in all his thoughts. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. He hath said in his heart, I shall not be moved, for I shall never be in adversity. His mouth is full of cursing and deceit and fraud. Under his tongue is mischief and vanity. He sitteth in the lurking places of the villages. In the secret places doth he murder the innocent. His eyes are privily set against the poor. He lieth in wait secretly as a lion in his den. He lieth in wait to catch the poor. He doth catch the poor when he draweth him into his net. He croucheth and humbleth himself, that the poor may fall by his strong ones. He hath said in his heart, God hath forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. Arise, O Lord. O God, lift up thine hand. Forget not the humble. Wherefore doth the wicked contemn God? He hath said in his heart, Thou wilt not require it. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand. The poor committeth himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the fatherless. Break thou the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none. The Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land. Lord, thou hast heard the desire of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thine ear to hear, to judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress. Psalm 10. More of this bad people are bad, but God is righteous stuff. Hey, Never Again. Good to see you. Mark Caesar says he thought about making a collection of Zippos, but then saw the prices. Yeah, there is that. It's quite an initial outlay. Sort of the opposite problem of razors and razor blades. They eat you alive when you first buy them, but then the replacement parts are nothing. If you can find them. Harder and harder to find that stuff these days. Geo Sam, good to see you. Hello. All right. So this is just more of David being David, right? God is good. God is righteous. God will beat up the bad guys, and the bad guys deserve it because they're bad guys. I tell you what's weirding me out about Psalms. So far, what appears to be a disproportionate number of them are addressed directly to God. And that's weird for me to read out loud. Because it feels like a prayer. And I ain't prayed in forever and a day. And it feels weird to be addressing deity. Very weird, does it feel? Yes. Indeed. Oh, that's my other announcement. I knew I was forgetting something. Sorry, Paul. I'll get my brain in order one of these days. I got to start writing shit down. Paul is going to be my guest on Thursday for Mental Health Thursdays. That's the same time as we usually do the public streams, 2 p.m. Central, 3 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. UK, 9 p.m. Belgium time, and whatever time the next day or the previous it is in the land down under. Paul will be coming on to talk about PTSD. So make sure y'all tune in for that. I anticipate it being very, very interesting. Psalm 11. Not a lot to dig out of these psalms here, because it's just poetry, and it's repetitive poetry at that. There's just not a lot going on. Repetitive even by the standards of biblical poetry, and the fact that I can say that out loud after having just come out of the book of Job. Psalm 11, to the chief musician, a psalm of David. In the Lord put I my trust. How say ye to my soul, flee as a bird to your mountain? For lo, the wicked bend their bow, they make ready their arrow upon the string, that they may privily shoot at the upright in heart. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? The Lord is in his holy temple. The Lord's throne is in heaven. His eyes behold, his eyelids try the children of men. The Lord trieth the righteous, but the wicked and him that loveth violence his soul hateth. Upon the wicked shall he rain snares, fire and brimstone, and an horrible tempest. This shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous Lord loveth righteousness, his countenance doth behold the upright. And that's Psalm 11. God's going to take care of me. And the wicked are going to be screwed. More of the same. Same of the more. The verse that seems out of place and that I don't understand is verse 3. If the foundations be destroyed, what can the righteous do? Is that a rhetorical question, or does it lead into verse 4 where it starts talking about God and how he's going to look out for us all? The righteous among us, that is. Feels a little out of place and a little downcast of heart to be stuck in the middle of this psalm. I don't know. Number 12. To the chief musician upon Sheminith, a psalm of David. Help, Lord, For the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. They speak vanity, every one with his neighbor, with flattering lips, and with a double heart do they speak. The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips, and the tongue that speaketh proud things. Who have said, with our tongue we will prevail, our lips are our own, who is Lord over us? For the oppression of the poor, for the sighing of the needy, now will I arise, saith the Lord. I will set him in safety from him that puffeth at him. The words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. Thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. The wicked walk on every side, when the vilest men are exalted. And that's 12. Oh, just nothing to get your teeth into, y'all. It's just more, although I do love how it opens, help, Lord! So much of the time it's phrased in terms of, O Lord, thou art mighty and righteous. Behold now thy servant helpeth him who seeketh thee. This just says, help, Lord! The Lord shall cut off all flattering lips. Ugh. I don't understand. There's some of this verbiage that I don't really understand. I don't understand the use of the word flattering in this context. It doesn't really seem to mean sucking up to the way we normally mean it. Maybe it does. I don't know. Maybe it's that one should only worship God and flattering other humans is bordering on idolatry. That kind of makes sense, right? "13. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. How long wilt thou forget me, O Lord? Forever? How long wilt thou hide thy face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long shall mine enemy be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, O Lord my God. Lighten mine eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest mine enemy say, I have prevailed against him, and those that trouble me rejoice when I am moved. But I have trusted in thy mercy. My heart shall rejoice in thy salvation. I will sing unto the Lord, because he hath dealt bountifully with me." And that's 13. Hey, nerdy rodent. Good to see you. Yeah, Ease says the stupidity flat earthers express is pure flattery. Yeah, I was watching I was watching something earlier that just, it's enough to break your brain, isn't it? I don't know how the professional flat earth debunkers do it. I really don't. I'm having trouble enough banging my head against the immovable force that is this book, and it's not talking back at me. I wish Psalms wasn't a separate book. I wish that these supposed Psalms of David were inserted into the story of David back in the books of, what was it, Samuel? Samuel and Kings, I think, where at the points in the story at which they were written. A, it would break up the story a little, and B, it would lend some context to some of these laments. I mean, because this sounds pretty specific. This song of abandonment and fear. This sounds like it came out of a very specific point in the author's life, and I think I would prefer that it was in context. Mark Caesar says, if it's not talking back at you, you're not doing it right. Well, you see, I have a secret sin on my heart. Many of them, in fact, and I am not seeking after the Lord in righteousness, so he's not going to talk to me through his magic Ouija board. I mean, book. Uh, 14. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. The Lord looked down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek God. They are all gone aside. They are altogether become filthy. There is none that doeth good, no, not one. Have all the workers of iniquity no knowledge, who eat up my people as they eat bread and call not upon the Lord? There were they in great fear, for God is in the generation of the righteous. Ye have shamed the counsel of the poor, because the Lord is in his refuge. Oh, that the salvation of Israel were come out of Zion. When the Lord bringeth back the captivity of his people, Jacob shall rejoice, and Israel shall be glad. Yeah, Nerdy wrote it exactly like the songs in Lord of the Rings, better in context. Yeah, can you imagine if the Lord of the Rings was set up like this? Just straight prose in one book, and then you go to the book of songs and poetry. Try figuring out of context what in the world the Song of Tom Bombadil is about. I'm still annoyed that that character didn't make it into the movie. You got time for 45 minutes worth of tearful farewells, but not enough time for Tom Bombadil and Old Man Willow? Damn. Yeah. I'm so tired of this psalm being thrown at us. Us, meaning the atheist, apostate, unbeliever, skeptic community. The fool says in his heart, there is no God. There is none that does good, not even one. It's a biblical excuse for being condescending and jackassy and looking down on us all. And I don't like it. Yeah, Paul says, that's not nice now, is it? I've done good. We've all done good. I would venture to say probably more good after we left the faith. Any of us who were in the faith to begin with. Certainly with our words. I don't know about y'all, but when I was a bigoted, young, indoctrinated kid, there were some things that came out of my mouth that hadn't oughta. Yeah. Brainbug's got it. Mark that one out. Yeah. Oh, no, exactly. Let me pull that one up. Yeah. Julie says, I definitely have done more actively good things as an atheist than I ever did as a believer. Well, that's because we know we've got to do it. Right? God's not going to reach down and help the orphan and the fatherless. We got to. Sure thing, Ease. Anytime. It's just coffee. 15. 15. A Psalm of David. Lord, who shall abide in thy tabernacle? Who shall dwell in thy holy hill? He that walketh uprightly, and worketh righteousness, and speaketh the truth in his heart. He that backbiteth not with his tongue, nor doeth evil to his neighbor, nor taketh up a reproach against his neighbor. In whose eyes a vile person is contemned, but he honoureth them that fear the Lord. He that sweareth to his own hurt, and changeth not. He that putteth not out his money to usury, nor taketh reward against the innocent. He that doeth these things shall never be moved. And that's 15. Coming from a time when there wasn't really a concept, I don't know why I qualified that. Why? A time when there wasn't a concept of heaven. This is weird. What does it mean? I mean, you can't abide in God's tabernacle. The tabernacle's the tent, the holy of holies, the place where God sits atop the cherubim or beneath the cherubim, depending on which verse or version you're looking at. And who shall dwell in thy holy hill? The holy hill is Jerusalem. So is this an announcing of an excuse to kick the unbelievers out of the city? That's what it looks like. Oh, and also a condemnation of usury. Finally, something I can get on board with in this. It's only taken us 258 and a half pages, but there's finally something in here I can get on board with. Usury is bad. Aunt Jur asks, what's the art in the thumbnail? That was made for me last week by the one and only Easeism Works. Thank you so much. I love it. Godless Granny says, you don't like it because you know it's true. Yeah, somewhere deep inside, I'm sure I do. Somewhere down in the depths of my heart, and one of these days, I'll repent and become righteous and shit. Start throwing metaphorical stones at all y'all. Maybe I'll repent and change to Islam and move to a fundamentalist country, and then I'll be throwing literal stones at the unbelievers. I'm primarily identified as an anti-Christian, but I've got problems with other religions too. Not all of them. Some of them ain't bothering me. Some of them don't kill people in the name of their religions. Trying to keep an eye on the time. All right. Michtam of David. Preserve me, O God, for in thee do I put my trust. O my soul, thou hast said unto the Lord, thou art my Lord. My goodness extendeth not to thee, but to the saints that are in the earth, and to the excellent, in whom is all my delight. Their sorrows shall be multiplied that hasten after another God. Their drink offerings of blood will I not offer, nor take up their names into my lips. The Lord is the portion of mine inheritance and of my cup. Thou maintainest my lot. The lines are fallen unto me in pleasant places. Yea, I have a goodly heritage. I will bless the Lord, who hath given me counsel. My reins also instruct me in the night seasons. I have set the Lord always before me. Because he is at my right hand, I shall not be moved. Therefore my heart is glad, and my glory rejoiceth. My flesh also shall rest in hope. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. Thou wilt shew me the path of life. In thy presence is fullness of joy. At thy right hand there are pleasures forevermore. It's good to worship God. It's bad to worship anybody else. Yeah, drinking blood. I assume that's metaphorical. I'm not familiar with any vampire cults of the ancient Near East, but I could be wrong. I mean, there was burning children alive cults, so there might be almost anything. Let's see. The lines are fallen to me in pleasant places. It's good to be godly. You'll be happy. The Lord is both before him and at his right hand. I'm sure that's just poetic repetition, but it sure sounds like the first indication of omnipresence in the book. It could go either way. Be an interesting way to, an interesting comparative translation moment to look at some others. I don't care that much, but it might be idly interesting at some point. 17. Not that's. I know I'm just blasting through these at about Mach 5, but there's just not a lot going on in a lot of these. 17. A prayer of David. Oh, that was one other thing about 16. Anybody know what a michtam is? Drop the spelling in the chat. I mean, obviously, it's a technical term for some form of song or poetry. I just don't know off the top of my head what distinguishes a michtam from anything else.
Used in the Bible in the headings of Psalm 16 and Psalms 56 to 60, possibly to suggest a word of unknown meaning.
Oh, goody. A word of unknown meaning.
Yeah.
It's a dead term. Fantastic.
These 6 Psalms and many others are associated with King David. This tradition is more likely to be sentimental.
Ah. Oh, well.
We don't really know.
A word of unknown meaning. All right. 17. A prayer of David. Hear the right, O Lord, attend unto my cry. Give ear unto my prayer that goeth not out of feigned lips. Let my sentence come forth from thy presence. Let thine eyes behold the things that are equal. Thou hast proved mine heart. Thou hast visited me in the night. Thou hast tried me and shalt find nothing. I am purposed that my mouth shall not transgress. Concerning the works of men, by the word of thy lips I have kept me from the paths of the destroyer. Hold up my goings in thy paths, that my footsteps slip not. I have called upon thee, for thou wilt hear me, O God. Incline thine ear unto me, and hear my speech. Shew thy marvelous loving kindness, O thou that savest by thy right hand them which put their trust in thee from those that rise against them. Keep me as the apple of the eye, hide me under the shadow of thy wings, from the wicked that oppress me, from my deadly enemies who compass me about. They are enclosed in their own fat. With their mouth they speak proudly. They have now compassed us in our steps. They have set their eyes bowing down to the earth. Like as a lion that is greedy of his prey, and as it were a young lion lurking in secret places. Arise, O Lord, disappoint him, cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, which is thy sword. From men which are thy hand, O Lord, from men of the world, which have their portion in this life, and whose belly thou fillest with thy hid treasure. They are full of children, and leave the rest of their substance to their babes. As for me, I will behold thy face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with thy likeness. All right, that was weird. So the wicked men are the hand of God, huh? So if you are beset by wicked men, it's your own fault. It's the judgment of God. Mark Caesar reminding me to mark off my chapters. Don't want to repeat anything. Yeah, heaven forbid we should ever repeat anything. Let's see. Paul suggests it's another small woodland creature, a michtam. Yeah. Yet another word of unknown meaning. Fancy that. Yeah. So if bad shit happens to you, you deserve it. Because God works through the ways of the wicked. Interesting choice, interesting philosophy. Haven't heard this before. This thing that the deeds of the wicked are the judgment of God. I don't know about this. Thank you, sweetheart. Yeah, full of children. Let's see. In context, it looks like it strikes me that it's talking about bountifully reproducing the wicked. The earth is full of them, for they are full of children. I don't know. Maybe it goes back to the, hey, Ricardo, good to see you. Maybe it goes back to the blood, the drink offerings of blood. David's like, my neighbors are weird. I don't like them. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and move on to 18, and that'll be the last one. Because, like I said, we do have a hard stop coming up on us pretty soon. To the chief musician, a psalm of David, the servant of the Lord, who spake unto the Lord the words of this song in the day that the Lord delivered him from the hand of all his enemies and from the hand of Saul. And he said, I will love thee, O Lord, my strength. The Lord is my rock and my fortress and my deliverer, my God, my strength, in whom I will trust, my buckler and the horn of my salvation, and my high tower. I will call upon the Lord, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from mine enemies. The sorrows of death compassed me, and the floods of ungodly men made me afraid. The sorrows of hell compassed me about. The snares of death prevented me. In my distress I called upon the Lord, and cried unto my God. He heard my voice out of his temple, and my cry came before him, even unto his ears. Then the earth shook and trembled. The foundations also of the hills were moved and were shaken, because he was wroth. There went up a smoke out of his nostrils, and fire out of his mouth devoured. Coals were kindled by it. He bowed the heavens also, and came down, and darkness was under his feet. And he rode upon a cherub, and did fly. Yea, he did fly upon the wings of the wind. He made darkness his secret place. His pavilion round about him were dark waters, and thick clouds of the skies. At the brightness that was before him, his thick clouds passed, hailstones and coals of fire. The Lord also thundered in the heavens, and the highest gave his voice, hailstones and coals of fire. Yea, he sent out his arrows and scattered them, and he shot out lightnings and discomfited them. Then the channels of waters were seen, and the foundations of the world were discovered at thy rebuke, O Lord, at the blast of the breath of thy nostrils. He sent from above, he took me, he drew me out of many waters. He delivered me from my strong enemy, and from them which hated me, for they were too strong for me. They prevented me in the day of my calamity, but the Lord was my stay. He brought me forth also into a large place. He delivered me because he delighted in me. The Lord rewarded me according to my righteousness. According to the cleanness of my hands hath he recompensed me. For I have kept the ways of the Lord, and have not wickedly departed from my God. For all his judgments were before me, and I did not put away his statutes from me. I was also upright before him, and kept myself from mine iniquity. Therefore hath the Lord recompensed me, according to my righteousness, according to the cleanness of my hands in his eyesight. With the merciful thou wilt show thyself merciful. With an upright man thou wilt shew thyself upright. With the pure thou wilt shew thyself pure, and with the froward wilt thou show thyself froward. For thou wilt save the afflicted people, but wilt bring down high looks. For thou wilt light my candle. The Lord my God will enlighten my darkness. For by thee I have run through a troop, and by my God have I leaped over a wall. As for God, his way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him. For who is God save the Lord? Or who is a rock save our God? It is God that girdeth me with strength, and maketh my way perfect. He maketh my feet like hinds' feet, and setteth me upon my high places. He teacheth my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by mine arms. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy right hand hath holden me up, and thy gentleness hath made me great. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip. I have pursued mine enemies, and overtaken them. Neither did I turn again till they were consumed. I have wounded them, that they were not able to rise. They are fallen under my feet. For thou hast girded me with strength upon the battle. Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me. Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I might destroy them that hate me. They cried, but there was none to save them, even unto the Lord, but he answered them not. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind. I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people, and thou hast made me the head of the heathen. A people whom I have not known shall serve me. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. The strangers shall fade away, and be afraid out of their close places. The Lord liveth, and blessed be my rock, and let the God of my salvation be exalted. It is God that avengeth me, and subdueth the people under me. He delivereth me from mine enemies. Yea, thou liftest me up above those that rise against me. Thou hast delivered me from the violent man. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee, O Lord, among the heathen, and sing praises unto thy name. Great deliverance giveth he to his king, and sheweth mercy to his anointed, to David, and to his seed forevermore. And there's 18. Well, that was a warlike little song, wasn't it? Holy shit. And yet he's delivered out of the hand of the violent man. Heaven knows we wouldn't want any violence up in here. Shit. Hey, Donna. Good to see you. Oh, Paul asks, do I have a link to where I'm going next? I do not, but I can see if I can rustle it up right quick. Let's see. All right, so yeah, the you know, that was quite a turnabout, wasn't it? In the previous psalm, we had no, I don't have the link up. Sorry, y'all. We had the wicked being the hand of God against the sinful. And now we've got the wicked being beaten as fine as dust before the wind by the hand of the righteous. So I guess it depends on how good you are at following instructions as to whether you get to beat the wicked or be beaten by them, and not in a fun way. Yeah, I mean, we finally got context for one of these damn things, right? When he was delivered from the hand of Saul, it doesn't say which time. He was at war with Saul many times over the course of Saul's life. Y'all, that's all I got. There's just, I know I keep complaining about this, but there's just nothing to get your teeth into in these psalms.
That's the first time I've heard hell mentioned.
Ah, well, that's a point. First time we've heard hell mentioned. Let me see if I can find that again. It's kind of a long psalm. Let's see. Dooley. Yeah, I remember reading it. I just don't remember where. Yeah, and I don't know what that means in context. If that just means Sheol and it was translated hell, or if we're introducing if David's making up the concept, I don't know. It's not clear. Imagine that being a criticism of anything in this fucking book. It's not clear. King James taking liberties? Yeah, maybe so. We, of course, had a very clear picture of hell by 1611. It came out of the art of the Renaissance and the fiction of Dante, but it had entered into dogma and doctrine by that point. All right. Well, we're coming up on the top of the hour, so we're going to close things out here. I'm sorry I don't have a link to drop for the stream. I looked for it earlier and couldn't find it. Uh-oh. Mark Caesar's got bad news. It's all made up. Oh no. Whatever shall I do? Yeah, he says Dante's Inferno is quite a piece. And it was a remarkably shitty video game, too. I was working in a bookstore when the Dante's, being in the public domain, they quickly cranked out a shitty paperback edition of Dante's Inferno, the book, that was illustrated with screenshots from the game. Part of me wishes I'd picked up a copy of that just for the novelty value. Ease wants to know what happens to Frodo. Anybody who does, you're just going to have to tune back in on Friday. Same time, same station. I got real fucking Southern there for a second. I do declare. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining me. And thank you all for being such an active and fun chat. We needed some active and fun in this tedious book of Bronze Age poetry. Certainly did after yesterday. Those of you who are with me over on Patreon know that we're working our way through the Catechism of the Catholic Church, which is about as interesting and juicy as a piece of dry toast left out in the sun. Now we're in a who can be the most Southern competition here in the chat. All right. Yeah. Thank you all so much for joining me here today or whenever you watch this. Special thanks to Grumpy Old Dude for the Zippo Flints, and special thanks to Godless Granny for the fantastic scarf, both of which arrived in the post today, just before we got started on the stream. Yes. And thank you, Godless Granny, for pointing that out. Make sure you hit that like. It really does help the channel, and it takes 1 second of your time. What's another second of your life, after all? All right. Well, as we always say before we head out, everybody take care. Be safe. Stand against hate. And we'll see y'all around.